Today is July 13, 2013, and my name is Veronica Lamas. I am doing a short interview with Kelly Sarceño, who is an intern with the Boulder County Latino History Project in summer 2013. This interview is being recorded for the Boulder County Latino History Project and the Maria Rogers Oral History Program. This interview is being filmed by Daisy de Luna. Please tell me when and where you were born.
I was born in 1995, December 26th, in Simi Valley, California.
Can you tell me about where you grew up?
Well, I was born in California, and then when I was 5 months old, my parents decided to move here to Colorado. So I've been raised here like my whole life in Longmont. So.
When did your family come to Colorado?
The first person to come to Colorado, or to the U.S. in general, was my dad, and that was in 1978.
And why did he come here?
He came here for a better opportunity because he was raised by his grandparents, and then once he turned 17, his grandparents died, and then he basically had nothing from there on out, and so he went to go get some outreach from his mom, and she got him a residency from the amnesty law, and so with that, he came to California.
So where was he before that?
Before that, he was in Guatemala.
Okay. Have you been to Guatemala?
Yeah, probably 10 or 11 times. Yeah, okay. I had the last time I was there was for my quinceañera.
Okay. Has your family stayed in this country, or are other people living in other countries?
My family's always been from Guatemala.
Okay. So you have a lot of family over there?
Yeah, my whole family's in Guatemala. That's why we go frequently, because we are like the only people who reside here in the U.S. And then I have a couple aunts and uncles in Virginia, but they usually come to Guatemala too, so we'll like all reunite there.
Okay. Where did you go to school when you were younger?
When I was younger, I went to Rocky Mountain Elementary, and then I went to Loma Linda Elementary, and then for middle school, I went to Heritage, and then my freshman year, I was at Niwot High School, and then I didn't like it there so much for reasons.
Why is that?
Just because it was very predominantly white, and like there was just a lot of racist tendencies there, and I was basically like pushed out.
Can you give me an example of that?
Yeah, there was just a lot of racial slurs going on, and I was there for the IB program, and it was just really hard to be in such a rigorous program and then people still trying to kick you while you're down. It was really hard. I remember there's like a specific example. We were eating lunch in the cafeteria, and it was just me and like 2 or 3 friends, and we were all Latinas, and we were just eating, and then one guy, he came up to us and he was like, "Do you guys get free lunch?" And we were like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, no shop there." And so we were like, okay. And it was just, and then he was like, any other day where you don't want lunch, can I have it? And we were just like, sure. And there was just like a lot of like things, small things like that. It just added up, and emotionally I just couldn't deal with it. And so after my freshman year, I went to Skyline High School, and it's just a better fit for me there, and I feel more accepted there, so.
At your other school, did you ever feel disrespected by teachers?
At Niwot, not really. If anything, they tried to help sometimes. I remember my English teacher, Mrs. Yazzie, she was the one who was basically like my backbone through it all. We had a writing project, which we read House on Mango Street, and the writing assignment, we had like different prompts to write about, and one of the prompts that I chose was a recent struggle that I'm dealing with, and she told me to write about what I was going through at Niwot, and like I wrote about it, like basically everything that really hit me hard, I just wrote it down on paper, and I wrote how like basically it was just making me ashamed of who I was and my background, and like that's probably one of the main reasons why I left Niwot, because I never want to feel ashamed of who I am and my background, because like my family is everything in me and my background. Like I'm proud of being dark skin, having long black hair, big brown eyes, like, and speaking Spanish, like that all adds up to Kelly, so I didn't want to be ashamed of that. And me being there, it definitely put me in a spot where I did feel ashamed of that. And so writing that paper, I just told everyone that, and we had to read our papers out loud. And in that class, it was an IB English class, so I was basically the only girl of color. And so reading that, it felt really empowering, and I did end up crying, and so did my teacher, and a couple classmates did. And everyone was like, we didn't know, like, that's how hard it is for you, and stuff like that. But people, I feel like they did realize it was an evident issue, but they never really want to face it, probably just because, like, for them, it hurts them to think that that's what goes on in their school, but they try to ignore the bad and try to empower the good, which is fine, but for people that it does affect, like me, it wasn't really a great environment.
Can you tell me how your experiences are different from theirs?
Well, just being a woman in general, that's oppressive, and so being a woman of color, that's even more oppressive, and so I feel like I've had to push my way through the rubble, basically, to just prove myself. Like, people, just being white, that's privilege, and being me, it's pretty hard. The difference between them is they get respected anywhere they go. They won't get dirty looks if they're trying to do something good. Like an example, I just finished the Pre-Collegiate Program at Boulder, and
Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, basically, they're just trying to prepare us for college, and we're taking like college courses on the campus, so we're walking to and from everywhere, and you're basically a college student for 5 weeks, and we get the opportunity to apply for early admission, and so yeah, that's basically what that's about. And it was probably one of the best 5 weeks of my life, but I did come across some things that wasn't so great. We eat at the C4C, which is the Center for Communities, and that's where the orientation kids eat. And so my friends that I made there, like, we were all women of color. Like, I had two friends who were half black and half Mexican, and then another one that was half black and half Puerto Rican, and then me, I'm Latina, and then another friend who was 100% Mexican, and we would all just sit at the same table every day. And when orientation came around, like, people would look at us like we didn't belong, like dirty looks. Like, still, they're not saying anything, but just with the face, that says enough. Like, we don't belong here, and like, why are you here? Stuff like that. And even with just seeing the orientation group, there wasn't many people of color, and that's kind of discouraging at times. Like, a lot of my friends, like, they were just like, I don't want to come here because there's no diversity at all. But in my head, I'm just like, if you don't come here, that's just adding to the problem, not adding the diversity that CE does need. So.
And why do you want to go to college?
Why do I want to go to college? It's definitely an important aspect for my whole childhood. My parents, the whole reason why we're really here is to get educated and to have a future ahead of us. My parents, they've definitely always been people who, they don't want us to like become doctors or become lawyers, but they just want us to have that pride that we have a degree in something we love to do, and just to have that. That's a privilege too, to have higher education. So to me, it's important because I feel like it's also an important step in what I want to do, which is I want to help my community and like make a difference. So with college, I feel like that would help a lot.
Did your parents go to college?
They did not. My dad has a 9th grade education and my mom has a 2nd grade education. So.
Where do you want to go to college?
Dream School CU, definitely. Even though it's kind of like the same situation as NIWA, I feel like now that I've matured my like perspective on those kinds of situations, I feel like I'll definitely look at it as like a better opportunity for me, because college and high school are 2 different things. So going to CU would be like a huge honor. So definitely CU.
Do you know what you want to study?
I probably want to double major in ethnic studies and political science, which are 2 like totally different things. Yeah, they're very different, but I feel like because I have like the mentality of an activist, and I feel like being a politician, that would help but I just want to find the happy medium, because once you're a politician, you just get sucked in trying to help yourself rather than helping the community.
What have been your experiences of being a Latina in Boulder County?
They've been good, and like I said before, talking about NIWA and stuff, it's been hard, but I feel like at the end of the day, it just empowers me more because I have been through struggles and through fights just to be accepted. So overall, I think it's been good, and it's shaped me to be the person that I am right now.
Can you explain those positive things?
Positives, just overcoming those situations and being proud of who I am, basically.
As you look into the future, what would you like to be doing 10 years from now?
10 years from now, I would definitely want to be a part of 10 years from now, I just want to be graduated from college and helping my community and hopefully work with CIRC someday, which is the Colorado Immigration's Right Coalition. So definitely, I just want to impact as many lives as I can.
Why do you want to work for CIRC?
Because I've seen how many lives that they've helped and how many people they've helped, and those people are always so grateful of the help that they've been receiving with that organization, and I want to be a part of that. I definitely do. To me, success isn't how much I'm going to be making and how much my savings account will have. It's definitely how many lives I'll impact.
Do you know many people who CIRC has helped?
Yeah, definitely Vinny. He's been helped a lot. And people, the organizations they've set up, like LYFE, Longmont Youth for Equality, those kids, they've always helped people and stuff. And just with that, I feel like it shaped them. So definitely.
Can you tell me about LYFE?
LYFE, we just go out and help the community and political situations. We're just trying to fix the broken system that the government is in right now, because we're young activists and we're the future, so might as well start now.
What do you think about the system?
The system, I feel like it's not the best. I feel like the system that we are in today, we're just trying to neglect the people that, if anything, they've been trying to prosper here. So I feel like there's many kids out there who are very proud of the country that they live in, even though they were born in Mexico, but they're very proud of the country that they're in. But sometimes it can be hard to be proud of a country that tries to neglect them and tries to basically push them out. Because if anything, they're just here trying to be better and help the community and help the country.
What would you like to see different?
I would definitely want immigration reform to pass, because I feel like that's just beneficial. If anything, the undocumented community, there's so many smart kids out there, and the fact that they can't go to college, or they can, but having to pay in-state tuition now, passing asset, but not getting financial aid, that's still hard for them. And
Is there anything else you would like to talk about? Or if there was someone listening to this interview, is there any advice you would like to give them?
I would definitely say to not give up. If you're someone like me, I've had the privilege to be born here. I was born in the U.S. and I'm a documented kid, but still, even with that kind of privilege, you still have to come across some obstacles just to be accepted in society. And I would say to never give up, even though those things can be hard sometimes, and just to come to terms with the reality of the fact that you aren't always accepted in society. I feel like just never give up, because at the end of the day, it's for you, and just make a difference, because it adds to the fact that you're here for to be a good part of society. So.
Well, thank you, Kelly.
Sure.